Hello. I wanted to take a moment to speak about suicide. Suicide. It's a really yucky word, right? Mental health is very important and it is very real. And it's, I say it all the time, just because you can't see my illness doesn't mean I don't have it, and I see so many people stating that suicide is selfish. It's, it hurts other people, and it does. It does hurt other people. But to say that it is selfish is very, wrong. And this is just my opinion. Coming from someone who has been suicidal. I've suffered with suicide for a very, very long time, since I was a teenager. And to honestly talk about it is rough and it's hard, and so many people have done it and so many people are doing it. And it does bother me when I see those posts about how selfish it is. It does, because, and this is coming from a person who has contemplated it multiple times, and from someone who deals with depression on a daily basis. And I've just begun to find relief, to find healing. Not relief. I've begun to find healing. And, we can't always put a time frame on that. A person's journey is their journey. And some people, well, they don't see past things, and that is what the issue is with suicide. When you actually, for myself, I'm speaking, I don't know if other people feel this way, but when you actually decide that that's what you're going to do, it's not. People think that people who consider suicide is thinking that, oh, life's too hard. It's so hard. I can't be here and live here, and I can't do it, so I'm going to kill myself. I don't care about anybody else. It's just about me. That is the furthest thing from the truth for me. When I did contemplate suicide, it was because I couldn't see past my depression. When you're going through an episode, and an episode can last anywhere from a few days, 2 months, 2 years, and it's really hard if you don't understand what's happening to you. It's very difficult. And I think, as a young adult, as a young teenager, as a middle schooler, I've suffered with this for a very long time, and I've gotten from my family, it's all in your head, you need to be tougher than that. And it's like, no, it's not. It's an actual thing. There's an actual chemical imbalance wrong with me. And let's not forget, environment definitely plays a role in it as well. And there are people who have depression without having a bad environment, and that is the chemical imbalance in them, But there's also those people like me who has the chemical imbalance and the genetics for it. But then there's also the environmental stress that I've been under as a child. And for people to say, oh, you can't help what happened as a kid. You can't, but it does affect you if you don't look within and try to understand, and it affects you. And suicide for me wasn't, I just want to be rid of this. I don't want to, life's too hard. I don't want to live here. That's not what it was for me. For me, it was, I'm always fucking up. Excuse my language, but this is what I thought. I'm always fucking up, Nothing I do is ever right. Nothing I do is ever good enough. They don't really want you around. And this is my mind telling me these things. And then things that are happening outside of me that make me it would make me feel this way, that I can never do it right. No, you can't do it that way. Or, you know, well, if I'm not here, then maybe it'd be less of a burden on you. You know, maybe if you didn't have to care for me, it'd be less of a burden on you. So maybe it's really one of the most selfless things I really can think about, because to sacrifice yourself for someone else, you know, well, maybe if I wasn't here, it'd be easier for them. You know, maybe I'm just taking up space that, you know, someone else could use. You know, I don't really have any talents. I don't really have anything of value to give, to offer, you know. I'm broken. I'm tainted, you know. No one really wanted me. My mom didn't want me. My father told me he didn't want me. You know, what am I doing here? And then that was the childhood version of me. And then I was in foster care. It's like, yeah, no one wanted you. They threw you away. And now, you know, you're a ward of the state, and you hear it in care, you know, you hear it. You're just a job. These foster mothers, they don't really love you, you know. And some of them do. Some of them get into it because their heart really goes out for these kids that, you know, are in bad situations. But some of them don't. Some of them lock their refrigerators. Yeah. Some of them tell you can't sit on their furniture. Some of them tell you, you know, run through the house because I don't want the smell of outside in my house, and go and take a shower. You know, they tell you these things, and they don't tell you it's going to be okay. They don't tell you that, you know, they don't tell you that, you know, you're going to be somebody. No, they tell you like, oh, the check didn't come, so you can't have that. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm just here for a check. Okay, well, maybe if I wasn't here, it'd be easier for you. I don't know. That was my mindset. And then as I grew up, you know, I was searching. Just searching for love, searching for something, searching. And, you know, I never really found it. So when I was 18, I thought about it again. I missed my opportunity to go to college. Because of care, they expressed to me that I wouldn't have been able to come home for 4 years, and I still was in touch with my grandmom, you know, and she was older. I didn't want to go away for 4 years and not be able to see her. She was I loved my grandmother so much, you know, and she was all I really had, and I couldn't stand to not be able to go see her. So I decided not to go to college. And afterwards, I found out that it was a lie. I would have been able to come home. But as I'm 18, I had no real job. I worked for like Spark Energy or something. I could find no value in my life. I had no real friends, no one to love me, you know, and, you know, it was like, what are you doing here? I didn't feel as though I had any type of talent to contribute to the community, to the world. And I just felt like the world would be better off if I was gone. And then I met a guy. He didn't make me see my worth or anything, but I thought that, well, if I had a baby, my baby would love me. My baby would need me. And so I decided at 18 to have a child. And no, I didn't decide for the right reasons. But I tell you what, that baby saved my life. She did. And I quickly understood that a baby could not love you. A baby cannot love you in that first year. But it gave me a purpose. It gave me a reason to want to wake up. Because I loved her so much. She is, you know, still all my babies are my world. And she saved me. And, but that would be short-lived, that feeling. Because then, you know, life happens. But for someone who didn't have a strong upbringing, you know, to instill that, you know, things happen, life happens, and you have to be resilient. You have to be able to get through them. Coupled with the depression and then having a new baby was rough. And then I got pregnant less than 6 weeks later. And I was just very distraught. I couldn't understand how I was going to love 2 babies. I can only love 1. I can barely, I don't even love myself. But I had to make a decision. And it felt wrong to not have her. And so I had a second baby. It kept me busy, you know, and I continued to have babies until I had 5. And I had my last daughter last year. And I was still searching, you know, and you're still searching. And, you know, I was very irresponsible having sex without protection, and they led to children, and I don't believe in abortions. And so I had to do what I felt was right, and that was to have them. So this year has been very difficult for me. And I contemplated suicide again. I did. I was in a very dark place. This is not long ago, 3 months ago, 2 months ago. You know, I had a job, I was working, but I felt as if what I did was unimportant. I felt as if this is not helping anything. And I felt this pain in my heart, in my soul, and the emptiness. And it's like, how is it empty if it's pain? But those who suffer from depression can understand. When you're in an episode and it's that pain and it's that emptiness, and in that moment, you cannot see beyond that moment. You cannot see any way out of it. You cannot see any type of healing in your life, because then your mind is tricking you. Your mind is telling you depression is incurable. Okay, you do the studies. It's incurable. It's manageable with medications, but it's incurable. And I've had issues with medications in my past, because when I went into care, they put me on a lot of medicine, you know, and it took me away from me. I wasn't me. I was just a shell walking around without any emotions. And when I got old enough, I said, no, I'm never taking those medicines again. But I wasn't doing the right work to try to heal myself either. It was just, you know, still drinking alcohol profusely, still doing things that I shouldn't have been doing, smoking marijuana. I mean, I'm not saying that's wrong, you know. It's when you're smoking to cover up a pain, it's wrong then. But if it's just something you want to do, I'm for it, you know. It's cool. But the alcohol, no. Smoking cigarettes is disgusting. I didn't even like them, but I did them because I did anything that would get me closer to the edge. So if I drink all this alcohol, I can get cirrhosis, I can die, and then it's like, okay, you died. You didn't kill yourself, because killing yourself, well, gosh, that's so selfish. And you know, I didn't go to see a regular doctor for a long time, because if I just didn't care about my health and I just died, then, you know, that's okay, right? So about 2 months ago, I was in a really dark place. I lost my job. So, you know, I have 5 children, and it's really difficult, you know, to raise kids with no money. And I lost my job. I felt so disconnected with everything, including my children. I made sure that they ate and they were taken care of and all of those things, but I just felt like I was here, but I wasn't here. And during that time frame, everything was so blurry and so fuzzy, and just all I knew was I didn't want to be here. I wanted to be free, you know. And you think about it, suicide. And it's freedom for some. It's freedom from the weight of the illness that they have. You know, it's a side effect of depression. Like, death is a side effect of cancer. Death can be a side of it. Suicide is a side effect of depression. You know, and people fail to realize that. They want to stigmatize it. They want to be angry, and they want to just hate and blame. And it wasn't until more recently that I began like a more spiritual journey, and in finding myself, you know, I find that life isn't that awful. It really isn't. And it's like, you know, I know that the depression will come back, but I'm doing the right things now. I'm not helping it. I'm healing it. And, you know, when I realized that the power was in me and not from any outside force, that I was the only one that can bring meaning to my life. And I would be the only one that would be able to bring meaning, you know, to the world. Like not the only one to bring meaning to the world. You know what I mean? Like, by finding peace within me, trying to understand me, instead of continuously asking, why is this happening? Why did my mother not love me? Why did my mother abandon me? Why did that person do what they did to me? Why did my father not want me? You know, what did I do to deserve to get beat that way? You know, what did I do that what am I doing that says I'm not worthy to be loved? And it has to do with you. And it's like, no matter how much someone tells you something, you know, you're not going to get it until you get it. And for people who say that people who commit suicide is selfish, well, they're not. And that I'm telling you that they're not. And mental illness is very strange, you know, and it affects people in different ways. And I find that a lot of people that suffer from mental illness blame, you know, and they can't help it, you know. They don't understand it. And it's very difficult to understand. It really, really is. You have to really listen. And you have to really understand. You have no clue how many times I've been at war with myself. Even till this day. I have to reprogram myself. You know, all those times people told you were fat. All those times, you know, a person that's supposed to love you called you dumb. You know, I have to reprogram those things. All those times that people have touched you inappropriately was telling me that I'm not worth it, you know, because you could do what you want to me. It was telling me that I had no voice because you could do what you want to me. And until I understood that, and until it clicked, and I can't really tell you when it clicked. It has to be like really recent, because 2 months ago I wanted to die. I planned that my kids would be better off without me. That I was messing my kids up by having depression. Because I'm not allowing them the opportunities that they need, that they deserve. So I'm screwing them up so they'd be better off without me. You know, and they usually keep me grounded. You know, it would be them. Like, I can't kill myself because I have at least 18 more years to make sure that they're okay. And then 2 months ago, you know, that I had 18 more years was like, no, I don't want to be here today. And I cried and I cried and I felt the pain. I felt the pain and I felt the pain. And then you know what I did? I stopped and I prayed. And I said, please, help me. Help me to seek to understand what is happening to me, so that I can figure it out, so that I can fix it, so that it won't continue to consume who I am, so that it won't continue to eat away at my core, at my being, because I know that in my heart, I want to do something that makes a difference. I know that in my heart, I want those little girls that feel as though they are so alone and that there is no one out there that will love them. I want them to know that I love them. I want them to know that they can overcome anything they want to overcome. And I prayed and I said, please help me to overcome this, because I want to help them overcome that. And enable for me to help them to overcome that, I have to be able to overcome this. I have to be stronger than this. I have to be able to control, not even control, because control, when you realize you have no control, is when you have control. It's crazy, but it's true. You have to relinquish that control. And that feeling you get in you when you see something slipping away and you want to hold on to it so tight. And that feeling you feel about it, it's like, no. And I need it. I can't let it go. When you understand how to just accept what it is, it releases itself. And it's like, it's okay. It's quiet and it's calm. And I'm going to tell you, the first time in 29 years, I'm 29, this is the first time in 29 years that my mind isn't racing against itself. That I'm not telling myself you deserve to die. That I'm not telling myself you'll never be good enough. That no one will ever love you. This is the first time in 29 years that I told myself it's okay. I told myself that I love you. And if no one else loves you, that's all right. And I told myself that I'll protect you, even if it's from yourself. And I must say that I've gotten a lot of clarity and a lot of understanding. And I know that, my time frame is different from yours. And I know that right now you are hurting. And I know that right now you can't see past it. But I just want to let you know that it's okay that you're hurting. And it's okay if you don't figure it out right now. It's okay to feel. And I want to let you know, stop running from it. Because the more you run from it, the more it's going to chase you and it's going to consume your being. And I want to let you know that you have a purpose and you are worthy and you are not alone. I've been there. And I'm still there at times. My anxieties come back. I get very fearful. And I have to remember that anything that we do might feel a little bit uncomfortable at first. But once we get past that initial uncomfortability, it'll release a little bit. And you'll feel a little bit more at ease. And it's just breathe. Breathe through it. Look at what is in front of you right now. And say, ask yourself, do I have what I need right now? Do I have the food I need? Do I have the home? Do I have a home over me that I need right now? In this moment, am I still alive? Is my heart still beating? If it is, then you have a purpose. And I want you to know that I'm not going to tell you that, you shouldn't feel how you feel, because you should feel exactly what you feel. And it is okay to feel what you feel. But just ask yourself, not why. Ask yourself, what can I do to learn from this? Okay, I feel this way because this happened. Okay? Now, what can I do to heal from this? What can I do to make it a little bit better? You know, because no one's going to have the answers but you, not me. You know, because what works for me may not work for you. And, well, you know what I mean. And it's just, yeah. And I hope that, you know, you can find peace and that this phase is temporary. I do want you to understand that this phase is temporary. This depression phase, this episode you're going through right now, it will subside. It will leave. And yes, it will return again one day. You know, you may be triggered, or it might just come back, and you can feel when it's coming. You can almost always feel when it's coming. And then try to get ahead of it, you know. Say, okay, I feel you. You're going to come. I'm going to give you a few hours, maybe even one day. But that's all you get from me. Okay? And then you're going to go and you're going to retreat. And you got to live in the feeling. You know, you got to understand that, yes, I feel this. But instead of saying, I don't want to feel it, I don't want to feel it, I got to stop it, I got to stop it. No, you don't got to stop it. Recognize it. Okay? It wants to be recognized. Okay? I feel you coming. All right. You want to cry a little bit? Go ahead, cry. Cry. I'm a crier. I cry over anything. So, I mean, I'm a crier. And it helps a little bit, you know? So it's like, okay, I feel you. You want me to be sad? Okay, I'm sad. Sometimes you don't even know why you're sad. You just know that you're sad. And a lot of the times when you don't know why, that's the depression. And it's like, okay, I'm going to cry for an hour. And then people are like, dang, that's a long time to cry. But I've cried for days sometimes, okay? So understand, I'm going to cry for an hour. And then, you know what? I'm not crying anymore. I'm going to get up and I'm going to do what I have to do. And, you know, I thank God for my children, because they do give me a little bit of time to be busy. So I can't always wallow in it, because when I was a teenager, I would wallow in it for days and days, you know, and why me? And it's like, okay. The why me comes when you don't understand what you're feeling. But when you know this is what you have, okay, it's not so much as the why me. It's what am I going to learn from this today? So I just wanted to say, you know, it's going to be okay. And, you know, I love you. And I've been there. I am still fighting my way through, you know, finding my way through. And I'm still going to have days, you know, where I'm not okay. But that's okay that I'm not okay. And you're not alone. Feel free to comment. Feel free to ask me anything you want to ask me within respect. I've gotten some really raunchy stuff. So for those people who this doesn't touch in an emotional way, please just keep moving. This is for those people who need this. This is for those people who need to know that they're not alone, because I needed to know that I'm not alone. And for those people that honestly just can't get right, that just can't get through, I'm here. You know, my inbox is open, and, you know, feel free. Feel free. Feel free to comment. Feel free to ask me anything. because I understand what you're going through. I really do. And I love you. And you're going to be great, and you're going to be okay.